football players in the nation's capital. But first, we'll get a preview right here on the Live Zone. And we're talking trick or treat. Yes, the states that are the best at trick or treating and the worst. I wonder where D.C., Maryland, and Virginia placed. You're going to have to stick around to find out. All that and more coming up on the show. But first, how about we talk weather, shall we? Caesar joining us right here on the Live Zone. Hello, my friend.
Well, happy Friday to you, Guy. I'm hoping you had a good walk into work. Not too bad.
It was a little chilly, a little brisk.
Right. That's really what we can always expect this time of year. But the good thing is, it doesn't get much colder than this for at least the next 48 hours into this weekend.
Okay.
So we can take it, right?
I'll take it.
Right. So let's get down to it. Let's talk about exactly what you need to know. A chilly but sunny Friday, and then cool temperatures heading into the weekend. That's really going to be the main thing for us. Dry but cool. And that's going to then lead us into the potential for some rain showers as we head in towards later on this week, specifically through that Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. Looking at the surface analysis for today, you saw that giant H. That's that high pressure system that really helps bring in that sunshine, but it also draws in that colder Canadian air, leaving us with temperatures in the 60s and 50s throughout all of the area here for the day. So again, that's where we're expected to hit in the city. 60 degrees, at times a little bit breezy, but everyone else will still be in those upper 50s. So yes, we do deal with some cold temperatures, at least cooler temperatures for this time of year. Then looking at tonight, having clear skies, that northerly flow, drawing in some cooler air, temperatures will once again be back in the 30s. So still seeing that very brisk feel out there. Temperatures do get back in towards those 50s and then struggle to get into the 60s and really mostly stay in those upper 50s thanks to some cloud cover increasing throughout the day. Looking at tomorrow for the metro region, right? Again, like I said, struggling to get into the 60s for tomorrow, just like we struggled to get into them today. And really, you'll notice the southeast zones, same deal. Not going to be breaking much in the way of the 60-degree mark throughout the entire area, and even out a little further to the north and west, could see temperatures still hanging around those 60s and upper 50s for us. So really going to have some cooler air, and that's really going to be the pattern that we head in towards this weekend. Look at that giant H. Once again, sticks around, doesn't move, is going to be stubborn, but we do start to see cloud cover increasing as we head into the second half of the weekend especially. You'll notice temperatures also dipping down and really dropping in towards those 50s as we head into Monday. That's thanks to this next system that comes up and brings us that potential rain that I was mentioning. It's been a while since we've seen some rain, so again, it is definitely welcomed, but the thing is, it does drop temperatures down back towards those mid-50s and just kind of sticks there. So we do deal with a lot of that cooler weather out there and really starting to see a lot of that more October, more gloomy kind of day, especially as we head in towards Halloween. The good thing is, though, we are not expecting to see, hopefully, rain for Halloween. So that's good for the kids out there for trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Well, I guess partygoers, too.
Yeah, well, I'm the trick-or-treater, so still working on that costume, though. Caesar with all things weather right here on the Live Zone. Guys, if you haven't already done so yet, make sure you download the Fox Local app. That way you can take that forecast with you any and everywhere you go. Well, it's official. The government shutdown will extend into next week as the Senate left town for the weekend without a deal. But what else is new? Their next votes are expected on Monday. All this as hundreds of thousands of people are set to miss their first full paychecks of the shutdown as of today. Joining us to discuss this and so much more is Mr. Armin Kurtigan, U.S. Navy captain, retired and political strategist, back here on the Live Zone. Happy Friday, my friend. Good to see you.
Hey, happy Friday, Guy.
All right, let's jump into it, Armin. Before we talk about the government shutdown, I want to make reference to the other breaking news story, if you will. We'll talk about none other than New York Attorney General Letitia James appearing in federal court for her arraignment on felony charges of bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution. Now, James is among those President Trump has long sought retribution against. Prosecutors allege that James misled a bank when she obtained a mortgage on a Virginia property by stating it would be her second home, not an investment property. They say doing so allowed her to save some $18,000. Once in court, she pleaded not guilty. Then she said this.
So I want to thank all of you. I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank you for your prayers. I want to thank you for your emails. I want to thank you for your support. It has.
So, Armin, we heard a lot of thank yous, and we also heard a not guilty plea. What say you, sir?
Well, karma has a way of getting back at you. If she hadn't gone after Donald Trump for doing the exact same thing, this would not be happening right now. So she's just interested in her own publicity. She even said she's going to figure out a way to get at Donald Trump when she comes into office. She campaigned on it. She manufactured something that was a victimless crime. The banks had no interest actually in prosecuting it, but she wanted to do it because she wanted to go after him. And now the same exact thing is happening to her. What she did was wrong. It was not truthful. And anybody who's ever signed a mortgage application understands the implications of calling something a second house vice an investment property. So we'll see what actually happens with this, whether the court finds her guilty or not. It is the state of New York, so the chances of her being found guilty are probably rather low. But nevertheless, it's a stain on her record.
Well, we know that this trial will now get underway beginning in mid-January. Meanwhile, the Senate, well, here we go again, Armin. We're talking about the government shutdown, blocking 3 bills that would have paid for federal workers during the government shutdown. Senate Democrats yesterday rejected a Republican bill that would have paid essential workers during the federal shutdown. Then Republicans blocked 2 Democratic bills that would have paid all federal workers during the shutdown. Armin, I'm beginning to sound like a broken record. It is now day 24, and yet again, we're dealing with a shutdown.
We've talked about the implications of the shutdown and what it means for the government. What the Democrats did, frankly, was very disingenuous. The Republicans wanted to pay those workers who were being told they had to show up to work. So air traffic controllers, military, essential DOD workers, and other folks, folks who were working SNAP benefits, to get them paid while they were working. The Democrats wanted to just pay everybody, including the ones who were sent home. And frankly, if they were willing to do that, then they should have been willing to sign them onto a CR to continue government operations so that we can continue to negotiate on the budget. So it's a lot of games that are happening. The Democrats need to just approve this CR so that we can move forward. We can reopen the government. We can stop squandering money. We're wasting money every day. Money is just being, you're lighting a match to it and burning it with nothing to show for it because of this shutdown. So at least $7-8 billion of taxpayer funds has evaporated into the ether because of this CR.
Yeah, we're going to dive more into this during our next segment right here on the Live Zone. Meanwhile, President Trump says he is cutting off trade negotiations with Canada after an ad campaign that used former President Ronald Reagan's warnings about the long-term risks of tariffs. I think we have a soundbite of that. Let's take a look.
High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. Throughout the world.
All right, so Trump is now stating that Canada is misrepresenting what Reagan said back in 1987, and it's influencing the Supreme Court as it weighs the president's tariffs. I'm curious. I know you happen to be a Reagan fan, and what did you think about this?
A lot to unpack there. Reagan was talking about specific protectionism and those types of efforts against other countries simply to protect industry. When it comes to the trade between the U.S. and Canada, Reagan actually did increase tariffs in '86 and '87 against Japanese imports and other folks who were trading unfairly. I would like to see ultimately a trade deal that comes down between the U.S. and Canada. And frankly, I think we need to cooperate between us, say the UK and other countries, for steel imports, especially when it comes to China and Chinese dumping. So there's a lot of room where we can actually move forward in partnership. And I don't think Trump wants to have high long-term tariffs. He even said so during a recent press conference. So, this might have been a win the battle, lose the war kind of thing for Canada for this this commercial. But eventually they'll come back to the table here in a week or two, I have a feeling.
Yeah, we really need that. We know this can have a major effect on, let's say, lumber and aluminum with regard to using that to build cars. Americans could really be feeling the pinch if this isn't worked out. Speaking of feeling the pinch, President Trump feeling the pinch from a number of Democratic lawmakers stating that, well, in essence, they're crying foul, and it all surrounds the demolition of the East Wing of the White House this week to make room for a $300 million ballroom he plans to pay for with private dollars. The project has raised questions as to whether or not Trump has the legal authority to bulldoze a large chunk of the people's house. What say you, Armin?
Well, just going back to the last thing, raw materials is the big thing on trade. That's one thing I didn't mention, so that's really important. As for the White House, this is really, really important for folks to understand. The White House is a 200-year-old building, okay? When it was built, you didn't have modern electricity or modern plumbing. There was no wireless. There was no, the security systems. All those things were not there. This is not simply a historical building that folks come and visit every now and then. It is a very heavily used building. It is the seat of government. There are, tens of thousands of people who come in and through this building. The president has his office there. It is tired. It is old. And it is in very serious, dire need of renovation. And President Trump is giving the American people a $300 million gift. He's not asking for anything in return. He's not even going to get to enjoy it except for maybe a couple of years once it's actually done. We're going to see updated electricity. We're going to see updated water. You're going to see improved security, the very structure of the building is very old. So reinforcing that, wireless, modernizing it, making it something that is useful. You talk to the reporters, anybody who lives in, they'll tell you that building is very, very tired. So this was necessary. We've seen these kinds of renovations happen in the past. This is an absolutely and totally disingenuous and dishonest argument from Democrats on this. And frankly, they should be thankful that somebody loves their country so much that they're willing to invest this much into the seat of American government to make it someplace that we can all be proud of.
Do you hear that? That's the sound of construction. It makes me happy because I think of money. And then he said, however, this time it's my money that's being spent in order to build this. So it is what it is. And quite honestly, we will see it sometime soon in the near future. Yet again, we have been speaking with Armin Kurdigan, U.S. Navy captain, retired and political strategist, joining us on the Live Zone. Make it a great weekend, my friend.
You too. Happy weekend, Guy. Thanks much.
No doubt. Well, a prolonged federal shutdown threatens to halt or delay November SNAP EBT in multiple states, triggering anxiety and anger online. Now, a number of people on social media are vowing to steal if benefits are cut and really say, you know what? It's the government who's at fault. Joining us to discuss this and so much more is Mr. Sam Rouse, the David Bowes resident writing fellow at Young Voices, a political analyst and public relations professional. Sir, it's always good to see you and welcome back to the show.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
All right, so Sam, it's fair to say that the shutdown really exposes the dangers of mass dependency on government welfare, does it not?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think all these threats being made online really highlight that in a way that hasn't been seen in a very long time. But what we're seeing is how much people are reliant upon some of these government programs for ordinary needs like groceries or paying their home bills. And it's a really concerning thing to see. And hopefully we can end the shutdown quickly so that this doesn't happen.
And you stated that in order to end the shutdown very quickly, Democrats, in essence, really just need to pass a resolution immediately.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this time after time again. These shutdown politics are exhausting, regardless of which side it is. But we need to see probably a clean resolution pass through, and so these programs can continue to operate. Because ultimately, many of us on the right would probably prefer to see a lot of these programs reformed and scaled back. It is the Democrats that are the biggest proponents of these programs that may close. And so it is really, the ball is in their court, and it's up to them whether or not they relinquish on all of their demands around Obamacare, around health care for illegal aliens, or if they're going to let this happen.
Sam, a lot of folks are stating that it was Trump's creative policy making that really delayed this crisis.
Yeah, and we've seen this over the past, 3 weeks of the shutdown. The president has managed to find a number of ways in which he can use other government money and even get private individuals, a number of business leaders that he has close connections with, to pay for, the payroll of our military men and women, pay for all sorts of different things that are continuing to operate amid the shutdown. And so the shutdown has not been as severe as it could, but that seems to be waning. And there's only so much money to go around, and the clock is ticking.
Yeah. It is definitely ticking, and a lot of folks are saying, you know what, we're fed up. Speaking of that, we know that in essence this has really revealed America's fragile social contract. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is a lot of dishonesty in Congress, particularly among Democrats, around what they want to do with healthcare, which is continue subsidies from the COVID era. It's rather bizarre, and it's really showing how much dishonesty and lack of commitment to reality. I mean, the pandemic is over. Those policies are not necessary anymore. We see in our politics, and it perpetuates a lot of problems and a lot of debates a lot longer than they need to.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Yet again, Sam Rouse joining us right here on the Live Zone. We truly appreciate your time, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, across the nation, tension has begun to rise as immigration enforcement crackdowns intensify. In recent months, the number of ICE raids have surged, leaving communities on edge and families torn apart. My next guest says enough is enough, and he's calling for the end to the ICE raids. I'm referring to none other than Mr. Raj Goyal. He is the former CEO of Boldala, a data company focused on the legal industry and current Democratic candidate for New York State Comptroller. Sir, good to see you again and welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me as always.
All right, so correct me if I'm wrong, but you say that this has really affected the everyday American, and quite honestly, you witnessed a raid not too far from your residence. Is that correct, sir?
Well, if you can imagine, I live in Lower Manhattan, south of Canal Street, for those who visited New York, and we have a very vibrant street vendor culture there, and, you know, it's really part of the neighborhood. A raid in a neighborhood in which we have families and children. It didn't need to happen. The only time, as I said, that my children and our community has felt unsafe is when this paramilitary group, ICE, came in to conduct this raid. It was not needed. It was extra legal. It's unsafe. And it absolutely is doing nothing else except perpetrating Donald Trump's war against immigrants and causing fear and panic in our communities.
And so the question is, what happens next, or what should happen with regard to these ICE raids? Obviously, you're calling for an end, as well as are a number of other people as well.
I mean, it's just a very clear strategy of Donald Trump. And so what I think we've realized over time is that he campaigned on the notion that he was going to try to tackle the affordability crisis. Of course, he's failed miserably at that. So he has maintained two convictions, which is political vengeance. He just arrested, our Attorney General of New York has been indicted on very specious charges, and he's going after immigrant communities. And so one of the things we have to do as a Democratic Party, if I should say, and that's why I'm running for state comptroller, is we have to stand up and make sure that Democrats know how to fight back, because Donald Trump is taking advantage, frankly, of the weakness of the Democratic Party, which is how he got reelected in the first place. And he is now challenging us, and he's essentially threatening us, and he's saying, hey, listen, you can stand up to me or not. And more Democrats are understanding, and it's why we're having primary challenges, that we have to stand up, because we are no longer in an era where the old norms apply. So people who've been in office for a long time, they're not up for this challenge. And so those of us who are, we are running because we want to assert the fact that the Democratic Party needs to stand up and fight back against these extra legal raids and the fear and panic that Donald Trump is sowing throughout our country.
Yeah, Mr. Goyal, it's no secret. I think that you would probably agree with regard to standing up for public safety. That's which the focus should be, rather than these continuous ICE raids.
I mean, what is the purpose served of ripping apart families, having children see their mother or father ripped apart from them, detained? And of course, it's also on fake grounds. You know how many immigrants have been told, oh, we just have a routine court hearing. They have legal papers. And then as they're exiting the courtroom, they're being absconded by ICE with masks, and we don't even know where they're going. This is not America. This is the stuff that you hear out of movies from other countries without civil liberties and without a rule of law system. We have to be very, very vigilant about how dangerous this situation has become, and fight, fight, fight.
All right, Mr. Goyal, we'll end with this. You were so kind to join us. Obviously, yet again, you are a Democratic candidate for New York State Comptroller. Why should one cast their vote for you, sir?
Well, because it is time to actually have a Democratic Party who stands up and fights. And I'm the only one in my race who knows how to fight Donald Trump and to deliver on the agenda for working people in New York State, because the Democratic Party, frankly, has failed to do that. That's why the voters don't trust us. When I'm the state comptroller, they will.
Mr. Raj Goyal joining us right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. We truly appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you. Take care.
You're welcome. All right, folks, we'll take our first break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Obviously, it is the big story of the week, perhaps the big story of the year, the bombshell illegal sports betting scheme involving 4 NBA teams and 4 mafia crime families, which netted upwards of $7 million over the last 2 years. That according to the FBI. Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups, Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, and former NBA player Damon Jones are among those indicted in the stunning takedown of 2 separate illegal gambling-related cases. So, what happens now? Joining us to discuss just that is Erica Rose, entertainment and federal attorney, back here on the Live Zone. Erica, it's always good to see you. Welcome back to the show. So let's jump into it. Erica, this was in basketball terms the story that was, let's see, an alley-oop, a slam dunk, an assist, all wrapped up into one. And I'm really curious, your take on all of this thus far.
I mean, I found it to be surprising for sure, especially when some high-profile players were being. I saw something that maybe LeBron James was involved, and like we said, these are all accusations. We don't know it's true yet, but it was definitely shocking. I don't know that much about the mafia, but I have known that, you know, there's been scandals in sports law history, like back in the day with Pete Rose, you know, in baseball and all that stuff. But I never knew that like the mafia was involved, and then this time it's involving like serious threats of extortion and violence.
Yeah.
So at the same time, it's surprising. We haven't seen it happen in a long time. Like literally last time was Pete Rose that I could think of. So yeah, it's been pretty shocking.
Yeah, I agree. So many folks are talking about this, and this will we will continue to talk about it for quite some time. I mean, the mere fact that they, being in Chauncey Billups' case, it's alleged that he, along with the mob, used high-tech, let's say, equipment and old-school tricks, including shuffling machines, x-ray tables, to cheat victims out of millions of dollars. In one case, someone was cheated out of $1.8 million. And at some point, according to the police report, the guys that were taking part in this scheme said, you know what, hey guys, we should let them at least win one hand. To think that the feds have all of this evidence, is it really case closed? Is this a done deal?
I don't think it's a done deal because I think that there's going to be witnesses and people accused along the way that are going to come forward and offer to collaborate and cooperate. And that's how they're getting their information. And so I don't think like the big athletes that we know about, I don't think they're going to necessarily get in trouble. But of course, I believe that this situation is happening. I mean, they have so much evidence. Like, how could we think that they're fabricating it at this point? It is shocking because these people involved, a lot of them have a lot of money. So it's like, why did, it's kind of like a case of greed. Like, why did they need to do that to people that were just making bets on sports? They didn't need to do it. So it was just a case of people being greedy, I think.
Yeah, it really has the script made for a movie. I mean, according to the feds, yet again, Damon Jones, former NBA player, asked for payment before a game at one point, stating that, hey, I'm going to take the game before I even start playing. Pay me my money. I mean, just amazing. Not only that, a man by the name of Tommy Juice, who is alleged to be a part of the mob, would go about to threaten victims, including former NBA players that did not pay up, stating that, well, in one case, he would break their kneecaps. I mean, this, yet again, it's the stuff made for movies.
Yeah, it's like The Godfather, but combining like the NBA. It's definitely interesting and shocking, but the way that the mob acts, I guess they still act the same way they've always acted. And it's just kind of crazy. Why would a basketball coach or anyone like that want to get wrapped up with the mafia? I don't really know.
Yeah. To that point, we know that Chauncey Billups has made over $106 million over the time of his career. And to think that you would put all of that at risk for, I don't know, another million or two? I mean, it's just...
That's why I think it's crazy, is like he had enough money, he had enough success, he had a good reputation as far as I knew of, and he's risking it all. Like that's why it's a case of greed, It just really comes down to someone being a little bit more than greedy because they wanted to victimize other people and take advantage and turn like what's supposed to be a good sport into a corrupt system. And it has you wondering, like, so were they asking players to like miss certain like free throws or things like that for the betting to go the right way? Like, it just has you questioning things about the integrity of the games.
Yet again, to your point, we know that Rozier is accused of tipping off mobsters that he was exiting a 2023 game early with injury, prompting them to bet over $200,000 on the unders for his prop bets that game. I mean, you would think like, hello, anybody home there? You don't think the feds are going to catch that? Real quick, Erica, obviously you are an attorney. And so the question is, how would you represent these clients, if you will, these potential clients? And I'm making reference to Rozier and Chauncey Billups. I mean, what do you put forth when the feds say, hey, we got, the proof is in the pudding, we got the text messages, we could show you? How do you combat that?
I would present them as victims and say that they are just athletes hired by the NBA and that they felt intimidation possibly by the coach and by these mobsters, and ask for their cooperation, to work along with the federal prosecutors and the FBI. And I think if they use that strategy, they probably won't be serving any time. Because I do think in their own way, they might have been victims too.
Yeah. Well, one thing's for
sure.
sure.
That's how you have to create a good defense, right?
Yeah, no, I would have to agree with you. And then, quite honestly, I would take that recommendation. One thing we know for sure, though, is that as it currently stands right now, we will never see either of them appear on a basketball court again, at least in a professional manner. And so, yet again,
and that's sad. That's sad that they ruined their careers over this.
Yeah, all of which, by the way, maintain their innocence. Yet again, we have been speaking with Erica Rose, entertainment and federal attorney, kind enough to join us right here on the Live Zone. Make it a great weekend, Erica. I truly appreciate you.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll take a quick break. Hey, on the flip side of that break, Frank Grimsley joins us. We're talking our Friday Talkers. He's coming up next, right here on the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Time for our Friday Talkers. And, well, quite honestly, the man with the master plan is in the building to do just that with me. I'm talking about TV personality Frank Grimsley.
Yeah.
Back here on the Live Zone. What's up, my man?
How you doing?
Excuse me.
How you get your voice to do that? How you started off? Because I want to talk like that when I first start talking.
What people don't realize is at home we were just talking prior to us coming back on air, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah.
And then we come and go, hey, we're back.
Yeah, that's crazy. Y'all be switching that thing. Okay.
It's called TV. You gotta do that.
No, I love that.
You look good, man.
Thank you. I feel good.
Well, you should, and you're doing amazing things. Anything new we should know?
Oh my God, just working. I have some potential exciting news coming up. We got some, we're in the contract phase.
Yeah.
So just keep me in your prayers if you're out there watching and you want me to do good things and make a lot of money. Just keep me in your prayers. But no, I've been doing really, really good. I just came back from doing some speaking engagements in New York. So yeah, I look as good as I feel.
Oh, and so that means it's 100% all the way. Let's talk about some of the stories you folks are discussing at home. In this case, we're talking about superstitions. Are you superstitious?
Yes, absolutely.
Really? Well,
yes.
So am I, and probably the majority of people watching are as well. Apparently, it's why? Because we recognize patterns, and then we actually say, you know what? As a result of these patterns, I understand that, well, it all makes sense, because otherwise it would not make sense. Kind of hard to follow? Well, in this case, a number of researchers are stating that if you break a mirror or walk under a ladder, and then you say, well, are we supposed to do that? You recognize a pattern every time it registers with your brain. So you're not necessarily superstitious. It's just that your brain is trying to register something that makes it all make sense.
Yeah, no, baby, step on a crack, break your mama's back. I used to jump over them cracks so fast, baby. But no, like even like step on a crack, break your mama's back. You never heard that? Really? Oh my God. Yeah, that's an Alabama thing. But you know what the biggest thing is, and me and my friend were just talking about it last night. I grew up in the South, and baby, in the South, you do not put no purse on the floor. Now I know my grandma and mama didn't think I would be carrying a purse. Yeah. But like you do not put bags on the floor. It's like very superstitious. You're gonna lose all your money. So I was out last night with a friend girl, and she had her purse on the floor. I said, hey baby, that's bothering me. Can you pick that up? And she said, why? I said, you don't put your purse on the floor. That's bad luck for your money. And I don't know about y'all, but I want every piece of change I can get. I don't need nothing coming against my pocketbook.
Oh, that's so funny. I'm trying to think what am I superstitious about. Probably God, maybe just walking under the ladder thing. I mean, that happened to me the other day.
Now, what happened?
Well, I mean, there were some guys that were painting the building that I live in, and the only way to walk around, by them was under the ladder. I said, you know what? I don't think that's going to happen.
What happened? What's supposed to happen if you walk under the ladder?
I think it's 7 years bad luck or something like that. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong at home, folks.
Listen,
but yeah,
we don't want you walking under the ladder. 7 years is a long time.
Too long. Okay. All right. In this case, we're talking about. Hold on, actually, Frank. We're going to have to actually take you live now to Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, who is discussing all things with regard to the impacts on air travel because of the government shutdown. Let's take a live look in.
So good afternoon. I am Nick Daniels. I'm the proud president of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association. America's air traffic controllers, we didn't ask to be the focus of this shutdown. Yet, every day, we're carrying the full weight. Every single day, we move over 45,000 aircraft, 3 million passengers. We move tons of cargo that keeps America running, protecting the national airspace system, and even more importantly, people's lives. They're showing up every single day under immense stress, under uncertainty, having to stay focused on performing the day in and day out tasks. And every day that this shutdown drags on with no clear end sight, this affects their focus. And our job as air traffic controllers is to mitigate risk, and it's also to call it out. Air traffic controllers, our job is to communicate for the safety of the flying public. And as this shutdown continues, and air traffic controllers are not paid for the vital work that they do day in and day out, that leads to an unnecessary distraction. And they cannot be 100% focused on their jobs, which makes this system less safe every day that this shutdown continues. Tomorrow will be less safe than today. And as the Secretary said, now we have to figure out how to mitigate that to ensure the safety of every passenger and every plane that flies in our skies. There is no version of this scenario that we have been forced into, where an American worker can work 6 days a week, 10 hours in a day, only have 4 days off in a month, and have to deal with their greatest priority, which is taking care of their family, to provide for them, to put gas in a car, to put food on a table, to ensure their kids have shelter, or that they have a level of care while they do go and do the very important job of being an air traffic controller and running America's skies. And the calls have already begun. Air traffic controllers have called and said, I've picked up a side job. I go to my primary job on a day, an evening, or a midnight shift. And when I complete that shift, I now go to a secondary job. I'm driving for Uber. I'm doing DoorDash. I'm doing Instacart. This job is hard enough 5 days a week. We do it 6. We make the impossible look possible every single day. But now, with this shutdown, we're making the impossible impossible for people to continue to live without money. So some of our lowest paid air traffic controllers in this system, whether they're new or they live paycheck to paycheck just like every other American worker, they will instead be focusing instead of focusing on the safety of the American flying public, they're now focusing on what they can't afford to pay. So as each day passes with this shutdown, more of this nation's air traffic controllers will feel more stress. They'll feel more pressure. And it's the opposite of what they should be focused on. We should be focused on how do we move forward, the cusp of taking care of one another. So air traffic controllers, we didn't start a shutdown. We don't end the shutdown. Our elected officials do. And our message is simple. End the shutdown today.
So we'll take questions in a moment, but just when I was talking to the guys in the break room, they're eating in the break room, and they made sure I knew that the food that they were eating had come from the airlines. The airlines know how important air traffic control is to keeping the sky safe and airplanes moving. And so our airlines, who know the financial pressure that our controllers are under and the gratitude for them showing up, they're buying them food. We shouldn't rely on airlines to have to buy lunch and dinner for our controllers because they can't afford it themselves because the Democrats have shut down the government. But those are the things that are happening inside of all of us who work in the airspace, supporting our fellow brothers and sisters who are going through a time of need. And I want to thank the airlines for recognizing that and supporting and being helpful in the small ways that they can. Again, just providing food for our controllers when they're on the job. With that, if you guys have any questions for us, happy to take them, yes.
Could you give us an update as to the number of delays that have been a direct result of air traffic?
So the question is, how many delays have been in relationship to air traffic controller shortages? And so it's different every day. So the average on a day is about 5% of our delays would come from staffing shortages with air traffic controllers. We've gone up as high as 53% of the delays have been because of staffing shortages. And that number moves every single day. Because as I mentioned before, we don't have one facility that's a problem every single day. It might be short one day, but then, it might be Chicago one day, it might be Atlanta another, it might be Newark a different day. And so it changes day by day, and so it's anywhere between that 5%, we're always been above the 5% in the shutdown, but as high as 53% of delays are from the staffing shortages. Yes? I don't have insight into the hearts and minds of the controllers who are calling out sick, but if I listen to the controllers who talk to me, they'll tell me about their own stresses, financial, and how they have to take a second job, how they're frustrated that they're not going to get paid, and some of them might be sick. But I'm working close with Nick. We're driving a message. I want you to show up. I don't want to see Democrat shutdowns drive pain to the American people. I've asked them, please come to work, and I'm grateful for you to come to work. But maybe that'll be a post-mortem we can do on what happened there and why controllers made the choices that they did. Yeah. So So this is a Philly issue. I am concerned about SEPTA. When you have a system that's $200 million in the hole, we see delays. But do we see fires? I mean, that's a huge problem, right? On trains and on buses. And what's more concerning is that when you have a fire, we all know what a fire is, but the management will say it is a thermal event. What the hell is a thermal event? It's called a fire. So let's not try to massage what's happening. I've had good interactions with the governor. I've asked the governor to step up and lead, to fix the system, to provide the leadership and the money and the resources and the management to make sure that this system is fully operational and safe for the traveling public. You can't get on a train or a bus and have a fire. That is a flashing light and a siren that significant changes need to be made. So I'm not going to front run what happens next, but again, I don't want to talk about consequences. I want to talk about action. I want trains to be safe and to run on time. That's what I want. And if those emergency inspections don't pass, we'll talk about what comes next. So we don't manage your rail. We support, we provide assistance, but Philadelphia leadership, the state leadership has to step in. And by the way, the city works well because you have a system that can move people effectively and efficiently through the community. That's really important. And to make sure it's fully operational and well run is important to us. And we provide oversight, we provide tools, we also provide money. And so, again, what I want to see is the state and the city work together with us to have a plan to fix this system, and that takes engagement, that takes leadership. And so I hope to see that from the city and the governor. And if they're willing to do that, we're going to work with them. Because what I want is, I want a great system for Philadelphia. I mean, that's what I want. And if I can be helpful, I will. If I get resistance, we can be great friends or we can be really bad enemies. I think we should be in the friend business and serve in this community.
Mr. Secretary, Justin Neal from KYW News Radio. You spoke very eloquently earlier about members of Congress and the Senate still getting their paychecks during this time. Are you still getting yours during this time? And if so, do you plan on stopping to stand in solidarity with workers like the workers that aren't being paid now?
Well, so it's a good point. Our workers are going to work. We have furloughed employees that don't come to work, but we have essential services that are provided by people like our air traffic controllers. Those who are working on our modernization effort for air traffic control, it's those people who we've asked to come in and continue that work, because my concern is if there are delays that happen because of the shutdown, 6 months from now, no one remembers that we have delays because of a shutdown. They just think I'm delayed. Right? We're not moving on the right timeline. So I've asked those critical talent to come in and help us move the ball forward, whether it's air traffic controllers or it's within the FAA, to continue the progress in how we're going to have, in a 3-year time period, build a brand new air traffic control system. I can't give up 24 days. I can't give up a month. I don't know how long this is going to go. It could be a month and a half. I can't give that time up. And so. I would have no problem stopping my pay. By the way, I don't even know if I get paid or not. In Congress, we did, and that was a huge problem. And we dealt with that because, first of all, the concept of saying if you're part of government, and especially the Congress, especially the Democrats who aren't funding the government, I never thought it was appropriate that you get paid while the rest of the government does not. Now, if there's back pay, like air traffic controllers, they show up for work, they're going to get paid one day. Those members of Congress, they show up every day, they're going to get paid, but they should be delayed just like everybody else.
So you're saying you will take the delay in your pay?
Yeah, I would have no problem doing that, yes.
How concerned are you, Dave Shepard, how concerned are you about funding running out for the
So just back to the academy, we're working on the numbers right now. So we pay our students in the academy. They get paid to go to the 4-month school. They're not paid a lot, but they're paid so they can buy food and get to the academy. We help them with their housing. We're about a week to 2 weeks away from running out of money to pay those students, which will be cataclysmic for them. Our instructors already are not paid, and they're still showing up to teach. But again, the disruption that this causes, I've already seen young people drop out of the academy because they're concerned about going into a business where they may not get their funding. And so it's my job to let everyone know these are the consequences of the shutdown. And by the way, what's not partisan is the fact that we need a new system. It's not partisan that we need more controllers. So we're going to continue that work, but it's important to tell everybody this is the hardship that we're under right now because of the shutdown, and it will not be consequence-free in regard to the pipeline that I have in bringing controllers in. So I think it's a great question. I can't project what's going to happen with our air traffic controllers. I have told them to show up for work, to do their jobs. Nick has told them to show up for work and do their jobs. But I've also heard about the hardship on finding a second job when they already work, many of them 6 days a week as air traffic controllers. I've heard about gas. I've heard about childcare. I've heard about mortgages. I mean, we all look at each other and say, who can go without pay? How does that happen and work for them? And no doubt that puts pressure on their lives, their families. And so I hope that's not the case. I don't want to see any pressure applied to this shutdown because of air traffic controllers. But I can't predict the future. I know they're frustrated. I know they're angry. And I know they want their Congress to think about them and not illegals. I can take one more question. Did anyone else know? You can go again. Have awarded what? So just looking at kind of how the DOT functions, a lot of the money for the projects that we fund, that money is pre-funded. So when you have a shutdown, I already have the money in the door that's allowing me to continue with projects. Now, one of the issues is if I have staffing problems, that can impact my ability to get money out the door. And so it's not that the money's not there, it's that I don't have the staff in place because they've been furloughed to actually execute the agreements or do the oversight that's necessary by federal law for these projects. And so that can be an issue, but much of this has been pre-funded. Just on our air traffic control modernization, we got $12.5 billion in the big, beautiful bill. I need $31.5 in total. But we got a lot of that money up front, which is why we're able to continue to push forward in the modernization effort to make sure we have a brand new air traffic control system in this country. With that, everyone, I want to thank you for coming out. I appreciate you covering the great men and women who keep your skies safe. They keep your planes on time. They do yeoman's work. And so thank you for covering them. And I want to thank also our controllers one last time for their great work. We're grateful for that at DOT, at FAA, and I know America is as well. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy discussing the consequences behind the government shutdown. Warned yet again there could be travel disruptions. He told a story about air traffic controllers having to rely on the airlines now in order to eat lunch. The airlines providing them with food to do just that. As Mr. Duffy stated, it is time to end the government shutdown. We'll have more on the shutdown itself now in day 24 coming up in just about 9 minutes right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Meanwhile, we're talking sports in a major way. In this case, we're talking Commanders. Is it a meltdown? Maybe so. A number of fans took to social media this week to slam the team after its 44-22 blowout loss to the Cowboys. Now without Jaden Daniels and a number of wide receivers still licking their wounds, the Commanders are not favored to win on Monday night when they take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Joining us to discuss this and so much more is former NFL player and analyst John Booty back here on the Live Zone. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for being patient.
Hey, it's good to see you, brother.
All right. Are you back in D.C. or are you still trotting down there in Texas?
No, I'm back in D.C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to have you back. We need you, and we might even need you on the field again, Mr. Booty.
Well, so they can talk bad about me, huh?
Let's talk about that shellacking last week first. Coach said it wasn't because of the injuries. However, I don't know. I would have to beg to differ. I mean, the Commanders didn't really have any wide receivers.
Well, no, they didn't have. They had to start wide receivers out, right? And the backups. I'm always like, next man up, but they wasn't able to produce, and it's hard when you're playing against a rival team like the Dallas Cowboys last week. You go in there thinking that you can perform. The Cowboys defense wasn't up to par, but you didn't go in there full force. There's no excuse, but again, next man up. You got to make the plays when you hit time to make the plays, and they weren't able to do that. Now, the game, 7-8 at one point, the Commanders come out and say, listen, we can stick around, but then I guess the wheels fell off.
Yeah, speaking of the wheels come off, they came off for, unfortunately, quarterback Jaden Daniels. He is out injured. Let's talk about the morale standpoint surrounding that. I mean, he's our fearless leader. If I happen to play for that team, I'm saying, guys, our leader is gone. You said next man up, but let's just be real. Doesn't the morale change?
Well, it's a football game, right? And the next man is up. So the morale is to win football games. We got to circle the wagons, so to speak, and get together as a group, a collective group, a team, to discuss this. Hey, injuries happens. Our leader is still in the building, and he's going to support us. He's going to help the next man up, the quarterback, Mariota, to be the best he can be. And now it's time for that to happen. And so the morale is, hey, we gotta inspire ourselves as individuals, and then we gotta uplift each other. Now there's a time when we can discipline each other, and this is the time now to see who we really are. Yes, they got a tough task coming on Monday night, prime time, but at the same time, the morale is what it is. It's a team effort.
Yeah.
It's the ownership, the general manager, the coaching staff, to the players. Let's get the circle. Let's get together and be the team that we're capable of being.
Yeah. You just made mention of it is what it is, and I got to tell you, when it comes to the defense, it's not what it should be.
It's not what it should be
at all. And so there are a number of fans, and let me make sure I have this correct here. In essence, calling for the benching of Marshawn Lattimore. And I'm just, wow. Yet again, we're talking about a team that was just, 60 minutes away from going to the Super Bowl last year. Now we're talking about players that, well, at least fans are, players that, the coach should bench.
Well, that's the deal. Fans are who they are. They pay their money. They pay for their descriptions to watch the game, and it's tough. These guys, believe me, I know. I've been on the field and people doubting you. You hear it and it hurts. But at the same time, you're a competitor. And you're like, I got to get better for me. I'm playing for me and my team. And the fans are going to say what they want to say. They have the capabilities of free speech. They can say it. I just get back. I got to get my confidence back some kind of way and play the game that I'm capable of playing. And, Lattimore, he's got to get that mindset. It's you got to have tough skin in this business, in this game. And not only is from the fans, but the players in the locker room. And they're looking at you cross-eyed, like, oh, wait a minute now. Who are you supposed to be the guy? And then it's up to him to say, listen, I am the guy, and I'm going to get my act together and start playing some football.
All right. Well, we know that we should expect Coach Dan Quinn, along with Commanders General Manager Adam Peters, to discuss the possibility of acquiring defensive line help because, yet again, they need it, do they not?
Well, they do. I mean, it's the thing about it, they got to see. I don't know when is the trade deadline. I don't know what they're thinking on that. But, again, it's up to the man. The coaches' game plans, right? You get the game plan. You put the game plan in practice all week. Players, it's your responsibility to watch film, study your opponent, and put the game plan together and communicate on the field that we're going to be on the same page and do away with these mental mistakes and start working on creating turnovers. Secondary, you go turn up a notch. You have to. and I believe they will.
All right. Well, I know we're not going to have you on Monday, and so typically we do this right before the Commanders play, but they play Monday night. But it's a tall task for them, John. I mean, you know, no. Initially, Kansas City, they were struggling. They didn't look good, but I watched that last game. All cylinders firing, and unfortunately for the Commanders, it's at the time when they now have to play them. What do you think's going to happen?
Well, last week I thought the Commanders go down to Dallas and get that one. I did, and it didn't happen. Just a tall task, and I don't believe the Commanders are capable of going into Kansas City and winning this football game. And Patrick Mahomes, he played big in these big primetime games, and he seems that they're getting back in, they're hitting their stride again. So I'm looking forward to Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Kansas City Chiefs will win this football game. I hate to say it, Commanders fan. I think the Commanders are not going to win this football game, and I would give a score, but you may not like what I have in my mind. So,
well, in that case, I don't want to hear it. But for the record, I'm with you. I'm one that keeps it real, and it's just too hard to do that without Jaden Daniels at the helm. And yet again, we don't even know if all the receivers are going to line up as well.
That's the deal. We do not know, and sometimes Monday night miracles do happen. So
that is so true.
Still a tall task.
I tell you one thing, it's always a miracle when we can make you wait as you did. So I truly appreciate it for being patient.
Part of the team.
No doubt. John Booty joining us, former NFL player and analyst right here on the Live Zone. Make it a great weekend, John, and let's go Commanders.
Go Commanders.
All right, folks, we'll take a quick break. Hey, on the flip side of that break, the latest on the government shutdown. That and much more coming up next right here on the Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. It is now 1 o'clock, the top of the hour. We are covering the government shutdown. We'll do that in just a minute. But first, the other big story of the day, New York Attorney General Letitia James appearing in federal court for her arraignment on felony charges of bank fraud and making false statements. She pled not guilty. Then she had this to say.
Been weaponized. A justice system which has been used as a tool of revenge. This justice system which has been used as a tool of revenge and a weapon against those individuals who simply did their job and who stood up for the rule of law. And a justice system which unfortunately is nothing being used as a vehicle of retribution. But my faith is strong. And my faith is, I have this belief in the justice system, in the rule of law, and I have a belief in America and all of its individuals who have stood with me, not only in New York, but all across this nation. I've heard from just about every jurisdiction in this nation who have said, stand up and be tall. And never, ever cow down or back down or break or bend. So there's no fear today. No fear. No fear. No fear. And I'm here to say that my work and my job and all that I do, all throughout my public career, I've stood up for the rights of New Yorkers and Americans, and I will not be deterred. And I will not be deterred. I will not be distracted. I will do my job each and every day, and that's why I'm headed back to New York, because there's work to be done, standing up for the rule of law. God bless you and thank you all, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, so there you have it. Yet again, New York Attorney General Letitia James appearing in federal court earlier today, pleading not guilty. Prosecutors allege that she misled a bank when she obtained a mortgage on a Virginia property. That taking place down in Norfolk, Virginia. Also stating that as a result of doing just that, she saved over $18,000. We now know her court date has been set for mid-January. Meanwhile, all things surrounding the government shutdown, if you're counting, it's now day 24 and still no end in sight. Both sides crying foul. Minority House Leader Hakeem Jeffries had this to say.
Hard-working federal employees, while at the same time we need to decisively address the Republican health care crisis, is crushing people all across the country. Meanwhile, Donald Trump and Republicans on Capitol Hill are nowhere to be found, have zero interest in actually addressing this issue. That's a shame. Questions?
Leader Jeffries, the New York mayoral race early voting, as you know, starts tomorrow. Are you ready to endorse Mamdani in it?
Stay tuned.
Leader Jeffries.
We are now at this point, day 24 of the shutdown. SNAP benefits are running out. People are starting to go without paychecks again. Now insurance premiums are already starting to go out. Republicans continue to say they're not going to do anything until the government is reopened. Is there a point where you just have to accept reopen the government?
The problem that the country confronts right now is that Donald Trump and Republicans decided to shut the government down. Like, what's unclear about the fact that Republicans have the House, the Senate, and the presidency? And from the very beginning of this year, they've taken a my way or the highway approach, have steamrolled the country in all of the things, jamming their right-wing ideology down the throats of the American people. And now Republicans are claiming that they're helpless. The problem that we have right now is that House Republicans refuse to come back. They've literally been on vacation for 4 consecutive weeks. Donald Trump has found all of the time in the world to play golf. He can try to extort $230 million to line his pockets from the Department of Injustice. Somehow the Trump administration found $40 billion to bail out a right-wing wannabe dictator in Argentina, but can't find a dime to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits in order to make life and health care more affordable for hardworking American taxpayers. And Donald Trump is demolishing parts of the White House in real time. Why? So he can construct some gaudy ballroom where he can be celebrated as if he was a king. All of this has been happening during the 24 days of the Trump Republican shutdown. But they can't find a moment to talk with Democrats to find a bipartisan solution forward to reopen the government and to address the healthcare crisis that they are inflicting on the American people. That's why we find ourselves in this situation, and we need Republican support for a bipartisan path forward in order to get out of this situation.
Leader Jeffries,
Yeah.
you just said that you would stay tuned on a Mamdani announcement. What more do you need to hear at this point? How many more conversations do you need to have? Why are you...
Obviously, the latest with regard to the government shutdown, now day 24 with no end still in sight. Well, from passionate protest to political punchline, the word woke has really sparked debate across the nation. But what fueled this transformation? We're taking a closer look at the evolution of the word woke and its impact on American culture. Fox 5's Janae Addison with more.
And you know, we have to stay woke.
Our state is the state where woke goes to.
The term woke has seen significant changes in its use in American conversations. Born from the Black community as a call to action against systemic injustices, it's since transitioned into a buzzword in the world of politics.
All right, guys, obviously we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with regard to Janae's package. We'll get you more on that in just a minute. We'll take a quick break, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is the Fox 5 Live Zone. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Well, this year marks the 20th anniversary of the passing of a true American hero, Rosa Parks. Known as the mother of the civil rights movement, her unwavering courage and fierce determination ignited a movement that changed the course of history. My next guest provided housing for her longtime friend and mentor, Miss Rosa Parks, at D.C.'s historic O Street mansion. By the way, she's also an author of the best-selling publication, Rosa Parks, Beyond the Bus, Life Lessons in Leadership. Please welcome H.H. Leonard, founder of O Museum and co-founder of 51 Steps to Freedom, joining us right here on the Live Zone. Ma'am, it is such an honor, and I am so glad that you are joining us right here on the show. You know, I'm thinking back to all of what you've been able to do, and I'm thinking back to the time you got a chance to spend with the amazing Rosa Parks, and to think that so many of us will never have that opportunity. I'm hoping you could just give us a tidbit as to what it meant to you.
So for the first 3 years she lived with me, I had no idea who she was. I was not a great student. I got a phone call from somebody I did not know saying that Mrs. Rosa Parks had just been severely accosted in her home in Detroit. She adamantly refused when she got out of the hospital to go home, and she didn't have any money. They heard about our Artists and Heroes in Residence program, and could she stay with us? And his voice was so compelling, and I felt the pain he was in to ask. I just said yes. And what people don't know is that if you Google Mrs. Parks when she was assaulted in Detroit, it says that she went to the emergency room, she was fine, and she went home right away. But that is not what happened. She refused to be admitted unless everyone signed a non-disclosure agreement that she was never there, because she didn't want the children of the world to think that they would be accosted in their home like she had been as a small girl. So it was remarkable. She was so badly beaten that her pacemaker was dislodged, but she was caring about other people first, not herself, to make them to refuse to get care until they signed that NDA.
Yeah. Well, earlier today, we celebrated all things with regard to Rosa Parks. Obviously, this marks the 20th year since her passing. You all did so with a commemorative prayer breakfast. Do tell, what took place?
We had Frank Smith, the Honorable Frank Smith, who created the African American Civil War Museum, talking about history and about his friendship with her. We also had Mrs. Jane Gunter, who is 87 now, just had a stroke, but she cared enough to fly up from Atlanta to talk about what her story is. And she flew up because she had donations that Mrs. Parks had given her, signatures, books, dresses that she had given her, and she wanted our museum to house it, which was really quite extraordinary and very emotional today. And that's what life should be about, giving and opening up your heart. Everyone talked from their heart. They told stories that I didn't know about, which were extraordinary.
You know, speaking of stories, and not to cut you off, but speaking of stories, you told a story before about how Miss Parks would always say, with regard to laws, you could hide behind the laws. And I'm hoping you can expand on that.
So she kept on telling me over and over again that we're hiding behind the laws. If we don't pay attention to people that don't believe like we do, the laws will roll back. And I didn't understand what she was talking about, but I listened to her, and I understand what my mission is now. I was looking at her pictures. Oh my God, my heart, she's a beautiful soul. That my mission is to meet everybody that I can to change hearts of everybody and come together as a nation, as a world, as a country with kindness and compassion and finding our similarities. I mean, this was a woman that had quiet strength. She was not angry ever, but what she endears and endures, and people remember her because her focus was on children, which is the future. It was on education, and it was on human rights, accept everyone with love. So she viewed her role as love is all that matters, and everything she did was focused on that.
Yeah. How do you think she would feel about what's taking place today? You know, so many folks would say it's so much turmoil, so much chaos, and yet, as you just made mention, we were just looking at B-roll of the amazing Rosa Parks, who just seems so cool, calm, and collected.
So I'll tell you a story that when President Clinton had his issues with Monica Lewinsky and he had to do a State of the Union address, she was invited to sit with Mrs. Clinton, and nobody on either side of the aisle clapped on anything that President Clinton said during the speech until he introduced Mrs. Parks, and everybody stood up and clapped for her. And the hair on my arms went up. I could not believe this. So when we got back to O Museum, I said, Mrs. Parks, what was it like sitting in the audience and watching everyone applaud you? And she never answered questions quickly. She took maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and her only response was, I am so glad I helped my country. And that's what I view her role would be today, is that quiet strength of serving others and figuring out how we can come together for our country.
Wow,
And,
gosh.
and it was extraordinary like that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I mean, it just gave me chills listening to something like that, and to know that, well, she was able to tell you that story and you were able to share it with all of us. One of the things that you are doing is you're working on an interactive app, and I'm so excited about this because so many folks are talking about it. Do tell.
So we, in her honor, we started with creating 51 Steps to Freedom, 50 states, one nation. To bring people together, and we were creating the largest outdoor museum in the world right here in Washington, D.C. The focus is on liberty and opportunity. And today, in honor of the celebration of her life, we launched the augmented reality in front of O Museum. So Mrs. Parks comes to life, only seen through your phone. You can get a photo of her. You can hear her talk about the lessons that she learned at different stages in her life. You can actually see a bus that she was on that comes into a model form as a piece of art with a sign that says, "Go to DuPont Circle and see my bus." And when you go there, the bus full size comes out. You can walk through the bus. You can sit on the bench. You can see where she sat on the bus. It's phenomenal what you can do with augmented reality and animation and music, because the song that plays while the bus is coming through is Cyril Neville. Wrote a song about Mrs. Parks, and during the pandemic, we recorded it in St. Louis about her life and story, and it's just wonderful. And I invite everyone to go to 51stepstofreedom.org. You can get a free ticket. You can see 30 installations and growing in Washington. Every week we have a new one that starts. You can go down to the Lincoln Memorial and see Lincoln. If you can't make the stairs to go up, you can see Lincoln come down to you, and he talks about his life.
Wow.
And his mission.
Wow. And yet again, one more time, the name of the app?
51stepstofreedom.org to get your free ticket. And
Absolutely
we're creating
love
this in our city to give back to our nation.
Good stuff. I truly appreciate this.
Tourism back here too, because it's really exciting.
Yes, ma'am. No, this was really special. I really appreciate you taking time out today to join us. I want my viewers to know we reached out to you last minute. And you were just so kind to join us to really tell the story that needs to be told as we yet again remember Rosa Parks, this year marking 20 years since her passing. We truly appreciate your time.
And thank you for being you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, folks. We'll take a quick break. Hey, on the flip side of this break, producer Chris joins us with What to Watch. He's coming up next, right here on the Live Zone. All right, guys, just like that, we're back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. Producer Chris, thank you. Oh, gosh. Not only is it Friday, but it's time for my favorite segment of the week, and that is What to Watch.
What to watch. We've got a lot of new options this week, and some that people have been waiting a long time for, despite the fact that the show is called Nobody Wants This. Everybody loved it. Everybody loved the first season. It was critically acclaimed. Even my parents loved it.
Huh, okay.
My parents literally dragged this show out. They liked it so much. They didn't want to binge it all in one sitting. They wanted to make it last. So this is Adam Brody. It is Kirsten Bell. What's her name? Kristen Bell. Kristen Bell, yes. And so she's like a sex podcaster. He's a rabbi. They fall in love. They got to kind of deal with some hurdles. So this is now season 2. People love it. But with high expectations, sometimes comes a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can't speak to, I haven't seen it yet. I can't speak to whether season 2 lives up to season 1, but people absolutely love season 1. But you can catch all 10 new episodes streaming now on Netflix.
Okay, cool. So, I have not seen season 1, but I'll
what
check
was
it out.
great, okay, so what was great about it was in an era of like high anxiety TV, as I like to call it, this was one of those shows that was just like a throwback to just like a fun, it was like, it was a love story for like millennials, you know, people who are burned out on dating apps and stuff like that. It was just two emotionally mature people meeting. It was great.
Okay.
Season 1 was great. I have high hopes for season 2. If that's not really your thing, we have another new show that's the kind of the total opposite. Welcome to Derry. This is a series that is a prequel to the horror movies that are based on the Stephen King book. So Pennywise the Clown, this is kind of an origin story. This is set in 1962 in the town of Derry, and it kind of explains how this supernatural, terrifying being, remember, Pennywise the Clown is not the only manifestation of the It creature. So this kind of dives into that a little bit more. Bill Skarsgård back, though, as the creepy clown. First episode premieres Sunday on HBO Max. And as we know, and as we've talked about, HBO dominates Sunday nights. Almost every show that they put in that Sunday night time slot goes on to be a huge award winner. Task just wrapped up. That's the Mark Ruffalo one. So now they're going right into their next one. Welcome to Derry. You can catch the first episode out Sunday. Also out this week, we've got season 4 of The Mayor of Kingstown. This is Jeremy Renner, and that's over on Paramount Plus.
I like that one.
Well, there you go. Season 4. That one's coming out too. Prime Video has the mind-bending new series called Harlan Coben's Lazarus. So Harlan Coben also did a show called Missing You on Netflix. This new one, perfect for fans of that as well. AMC has the 3rd chapter in what I'm calling the Anne Rice cinematic universe, you know, like Interview with the Vampire. This one called Talamasca. And basically it follows a law grad who finds out his entire life has been under surveillance by this secretive agency that monitors witches, vampires, and other supernatural forces. So kind of set in that same realm. And then for all the reality fans out there, season 7 of The Kardashians out now. Episode 1 out now on Hulu. And listen, it made a lot of headlines. Kim K talking about her aneurysm came out of that episode. A couple other little juicy details, as they always manage to do. And I was saying to Jacqueline Matter earlier, for a family that lives their entire life in the public eye, better than anybody, they manage to hide those sort of things that they
really
then
do.
can't wait to reveal when the new season of the reality show drops. So if that's what you're into, that's out now.
I bet you next year we're going to find out there's another sister.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
That we never knew about.
Or another child, because they keep adding those too. Okay, that's all the new series. If you're in the mood for movies, there's 2 new movies out. The first one looks absolutely fantastic. Perfect for fans of political thrillers and Idris Elba. So this is from the director of, you saw it right there, Zero Dark 30. This is Catherine Bigelow, Oscar winner Catherine Bigelow. She also did The Hurt Locker. So this one tells the story of the president and his team of government and military officials scrambling to deal with an incoming nuclear missile launched by an unknown foreign power. It's heading for the city of Chicago. They have just hours to really kind of figure out what they're going to do. This one is streaming now on Netflix, and a real white knuckle ride. Let's put it that way.
Nice,
It is going to be if you saw Zero Dark 30, you know she is a master of that tension in a movie. All right. One other new movie out this weekend. This is a remake of, I want to say, the 90s, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. This one stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the title role. She hires a nanny, and then everything goes a little haywire. Let's just put it that way. So a little bit of a scary one. So that's all the new streaming stuff.
Okay.
I know you're a big fan of heading out to the theater.
Uh-huh.
You have a couple new options. Bear with me here.
Okay.
First one, Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen.
Oh.
This is called Deliver Me From Nowhere, and it really tells the story of Bruce the boss as he's trying to work on his album Nebraska, kind of the emotional turmoil, the reconciliation that he's trying to do with his life, his father, and as he's recording this album. That album, now listen, Tom Fitzgerald, we both know, is the boss when it comes to the boss. He is the expert. But what I do know about that album is it gave us the song Atlantic City, which is one of my favorites. One of my absolute favorites. So that's in theaters now.
I watched the trailer to that at least 4 or 5 times. I am really excited about that movie.
I'm very impressed because I did find out that Jeremy Allen White apparently does his own singing. So he
Really?
Yeah, that is not just him doing lip singing
Wow.
to real Bruce Springsteen. Apparently he really learned to sing like the boss. So pretty impressive. All right, next up, we've got a movie called Regretting You. This is one of those Colin Hoover books. Now remember, the last Colin Hoover book that got adapted into a movie led to that Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively drama, for a lack of a better phrase. This time around, this one stars Scott Eastwood, Allison Williams, and more. And then last but not least, we have a movie called Blue Moon. What's interesting about this one is it's Ethan Hawke and Richard Linklater teaming up once again. They have done more movies together than I can actually count. But this is based on, it's set at the premiere of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Oklahoma. Ethan Hawke plays Rodgers' former writing partner, who kind of has to see his former writing partner now go on to do bigger and better things without him.
Wow.
So that's Blue Moon, and that's in theaters now as well.
All right. What's the one with the boss? Is it called The Boss?
It's called Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm going to check out this weekend. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Let me know what you think. I'm going to be watching the final 2 episodes of Love is Blind Season 9. This is the weddings. This is supposed to be the weddings. I've already seen some spoilers out there. I apologize if you haven't seen it, but apparently we're going to get a Love is Blind first when it comes to the wedding. So I'll just leave you with that. And then the reunion drops next week, and I'm sure we'll be full. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait for that reunion because this group of people,
I can tell you're into it, buddy.
Man, oh man.
Chris. And by the way, you can check Chris out tonight.
Tonight, 7:30. Do you like it or not? Right here on Fox Local and streaming on Fox 5 DC's YouTube page.
And then 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock, we go live officially. Our hard launch Fox Local and Fox 5 DC's YouTube page on Monday. Tony P's enjoying some time off, officiating his sister's wedding, so no 9 p.m. tonight.
Okay, good stuff. I appreciate you, Chris.
Thank
you.
you.
We'll take a quick break, guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys, back here on the Fox 5 Live Zone. I am so excited about this segment. You see, the D.C. Department of Parks and Recreation, well, it hosted their first, or most recent, I should say, Youth Football 6U Jamboree. It's a championship-style celebration for the district's youngest football players, ages 6 and under. How cool is that? Adding to the excitement, the Washington Commanders actually joined DPR to celebrate these rising stars. Joining us to discuss this and so much more, our friend is back, Miss Thenie Freeman. Of course, she is with the D.C. Department of Parks and Recreation, and she's kind enough to join us right here on the LZ. Hello, my friend.
Hi, friend. How are you?
I am awesome, and I'm all smiles because we got a chance to recognize the kiddos today.
Yes, so we're excited. The Jamboree is tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Okay, I stand corrected.
Tomorrow. No, but that makes it better because people can actually come out and support the kiddos who are playing football for the very first time.
Wow. This is just so cool, Danny, to think that, you know, you're going to get a chance to see the kids strap up, if you will, put on the helmets. And for me, it's 6 and under. The helmet's supposed, just like me, I was like a really small kid. The helmet happened to be bigger than me.
So it's so funny you say that. We call it our bobblehead championship because they look like little bobbleheads out there. And as you know, sports is so much more than just getting on the field and playing or doing the activity. You're teaching life skills, the importance of community building, resilience. You know, in sports, you will be let down, but your coaches encourage you to get back up. And at the end of the game, it always ends with a handshake and clapping up and dapping up the next team. So we're proud about that, and we just want our families to come out and support our bobblehead championship.
Yeah, this is really cool. And you know what else I'm thinking about, Thenie? There's no better time to do something like this. There are so many people that are going through hard times right now, and I'm making reference to the government shutdown. And so I don't know about you, but seeing these little kiddos get out there and do their thing, it really puts a smile on my face, and I would assume perhaps it could do that the same for our viewers as well. Not to mention, as you heard me state earlier, you all have teamed up with the Commanders.
The Commanders are an excellent partner. They are doing wonderful things with DPR. And yes, Major Tutty will be there. We have some legends showing up. Kevin Barnes and also Josh Morgan will be there tomorrow. We're really, really excited. The Command Force is coming out. So, you know, they're bringing the energy, they're bringing the fun, they're bringing Major Tutty, and they're bringing the people to give our children just hey, come on, y'all can do this. We can do this.
Yeah. Well, speaking of we can do this, you and the mayor have been quite adamant at doing just that, and that is giving back to area youth. You know, I posed this question to you before, and I will do it yet again for some of our new viewers. Why? Well, why is it that you feel a need to give back so often?
So you hear the mayor often talk about DC being the youth sports capital. And again, Guy, it goes back to, we know that these are life skills. What better way than experiential learning techniques than to connect young people through sports? You're building lifelong mentorship. You know, it's more than just a game. We know it's fun, we know it's safe, and we know that it also gives families something they can do. Sports are really a community event.
Yeah, which perhaps explains your T-shirt, Fit for Life.
That's right. We just had our fun run with Howard University and Fit for Life DPR. We tell you, come visit our pools. Listen, if you find yourself with some extra time, visit any of our spaces. We have gyms that are free. We have pools that are free. We have classes that you can drop in. We're here to serve. And Mayor Bowser wants us to make sure that the community knows. We also give away free groceries, Guy. So visit us at dpr.events and take advantage of some of the resources that are here in your city.
All right. So yet again, we'll sell it and sell it well, because this is something, quite honestly, I really don't even need to sell. I think folks are going to show up in droves, and that is the 6th annual, or shall I say, the Youth Football 6U Jamboree that's taking place tomorrow. I got that right?
Tomorrow, yes, 10 a.m.
All right. Folks that want to find out more information, Thenie, how would one go about to do so?
Visit us at dpr.events. Follow us on all social media platforms at DCDPR. Our Instagram is popping, and we want to, you know, maybe you'll pop up on us one day. We're waiting for you, guys. We have every T-shirt. They're all yours in a bag with your name on them.
I tell you what, you do this so well, maybe you could take my job, because obviously I need some help. Thenie Freeman, Director of Department of Parks and Recreation, joining us right here on the Live Zone. It's always good to see you, Thenie. I'll see you soon. All right, folks, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Five Live Zone. Time for our Friday Talkers. And, well, quite honestly, the man with the master plan is in the building to do just that with me. I'm talking about TV personality Frank Grimsley.
Yeah.
Back here on the Live Zone. What's up, my man?
How you doing?
Excuse me.
How you get your voice to do that? How you started off? Because I want to talk like that when I first start talking.
What people don't realize is at home we were just talking prior to us coming back on air, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Yeah. And then we come and go, hey, we're back.
Yeah, that's crazy. Y'all be switching that thing. Okay.
It's called TV. You gotta do that.
No, I love that.
You look good, man.
Thank you. I feel good.
Well, you should, and you're doing amazing things. Anything new we should know?
Oh my God, just working. I have some potential exciting news coming up. We got some, we're in the contract phase.
Yeah.
So just keep me in your prayers if you're out there watching and you want me to do good things and make a lot of money. Just keep me in your prayers. But no, I've been doing really, really good. I just came back from doing some speaking engagements in New York. So yeah, I look as good as I feel.
Oh, and so that means it's 100% all
yes.
the way. Let's talk about some of the stories you folks are discussing at home. In this case, we're talking about superstitions. Are you superstitious?
Yes, absolutely.
Really? Well,
yes.
So am I, and probably the majority of people watching are as well. Apparently, it's because, why? Because we recognize patterns, and then we actually say, you know what? As a result of these patterns, I understand that, well, it all makes sense, because otherwise it would not make sense. Kind of hard to follow? Well, in this case, a number of researchers are stating that if you break a mirror or walk under a ladder, and then you say, well, are we supposed to do that? You recognize a pattern every time it registers with your brain. So you're not necessarily superstitious. It's just that your brain is trying to register something that makes it all make sense.
Yeah, no, baby, step on a crack, break your mama's back. I used to jump over them cracks so fast, baby. But no, like even like step on a crack, break your mama's back. You never heard that? Really? Oh my God. Yeah, that's an Alabama thing. But you know what the biggest thing is, and me and my friend were just talking about it last night. I grew up in the South, and baby, in the South, you do not put no purse on the floor. Now I know my grandma and mama didn't think I would be carrying a purse. Yeah. But like you do not put bags on the floor. It's like very superstitious. You're gonna lose all your money. So I was out last night with a friend girl, and she had her purse on the floor. I said, hey baby, that's bothering me. Can you pick that up? And she said, why? I said, you don't put your purse on the floor. That's bad luck for your money. And I don't know about y'all, but I want every piece of change I can get. I don't need nothing coming against my pocketbook.
Oh, that's so funny. I'm trying to think, what am I superstitious about? Probably, God, maybe just walking under the ladder thing. I mean, that happened to me the other day.
Now, what happened?
Well, I mean, there were some guys that were painting the building that I live in, and, the only way to walk around, by them was under the ladder. I said, you know what? I don't think
so
that's going to happen.
What happened? What's supposed to happen if you walk
I think
under
it's
the ladder?
7 years bad luck or something like that. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong at home, folks.
Listen,
but yeah,
we don't want you walking on no ladder. 7 years is a long time.
Too long. Okay. All right. In this case, we're talking about friends. How many of us have them? Well, I consider Frank my friend. In this case, hopefully he'll be around for a while. But for a lot of folks, that's not the case. It's harder to make friends the older you get, according to a newly released study. The study found that the main reason is because of location, location, location. So whereas you're right here with me right now, Frank, let's say you move all the way out to California to become that big star that we all know you're going to be, well, I might not see you as much. And so as a result, we don't get enough time to spend together to maintain our friendship. The second reason happened to be because, well, you just start lifing. In this case, life transitions. And so I'm curious, have you lost a lot of your very close friends throughout the year?
I wouldn't say lost. I don't like that word. I would say think friendships change. And I think the biggest thing is that one, location, two, life. There's only 24 hours in one day. Yeah. So I feel like, you used to sit up on the phone with your good girlfriends and talk all day long, text all day. But now most of us are working, and we're in the working class, and most of us are working probably past the time we're supposed to be off. So if I spend my day working, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to nobody when I get home. So it's like you have to pick and choose. Like in my head, I think as trying to balance friendships, I'm always thinking, okay, well, who haven't I spoke with in a while? Let me give them a call today. So trying to like balance it all, but even that is a commitment. And because I'm single right now, I feel like it's easier for me to do, but I'm thinking, oh, well, when I get in partnership, that time is going to be limited. So I think as we get older and get settled into our careers, it can be a little bit more challenging to like maintain those friendships. But I do think good friendships can last through various seasons and test of time.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I mean, in my friendships, there's been ups and downs. We had a falling out, but then we'd get back right back together. I will say, though, that with regard to my friendships now, they're probably more start off as being my colleagues because I work so much, so I got a lot of buddies now here at Fox 5. We hang out. Matter of fact, we watched the Alabama game together.
Wow.
So,
and you didn't invite me. And then you just hear him call me his friend. That's not very friend-like.
Well, I think you were busy at the time.
See,
I checked your Instagram.
That's what they do. That's what they do. They always be like, oh, I think you're busy.
I promise I'll invite you next time.
You better.
In this case, how about we go trick-or-treating? Because we're talking about the safest states to do just that. According to a newly released study, New Jersey happens to be the safest state. It was really surrounding factors included walkability, pedestrian fatalities, well, that's a big one, and percentage of children in each state. So where did D.C., Maryland, and Virginia rank? Well, D.C.'s not a state, so that's null and void. Maryland, number 24, and Virginia, number 32. I should have looked up Alabama because that's where you grew up.
We used to trick and treat, okay? In the best way. But no, I used to love my I think in the South, I grew up in a small town, like chickens and stuff in the backyard. So I used to love when trick-or-treat time came around. I didn't even want to go trick-or-treating. I wanted to make the little bags and be the person handing it out. Like, I thought that was so cute and so fun. And I used to always tell my grandma, like, you need to get the Reese cup. We need to be known as the house with the good candy. Because, you go over there and get them push pops and all that pop, lock, drop it. We don't want none of that. We want that good stuff.
Oh, man, you were funny. For me, I was a Snickers guy. And to this day, I still am. Yeah, that was the good stuff.
You look like you like an Almond Joy.
No, I'm a Snickers guy. Okay. Because that had coconut in it, right? Yeah, I was allergic to coconut as a kid. Okay. So Snickers followed by Reese's Cup. Okay. Peanut butter cup. And then some Jolly Ranchers.
Okay. Okay. I love that.
That's a good order?
Yeah, no, I think so. You got to throw a little not chocolate in there, but I love a peanut butter cup. Especially them Easter eggs when they come out. Oh, my God. Them bunnies. It's something different. They do something different than the regular Reese.
Oh, well, I tell you, it's always different when you join us in a funny way.
Listen.
Yet again, Frank Grimsley doing amazing things, and I guess we just have to stay tuned.
Yeah, I'll see you at the Alabama game that you host. And if I see it
I'm
online,
inviting him right now.
And I'm not invited. I'm not coming to do this no more.
Okay, you saw it here first, right here on the Live Zone. Frank Grimsley joining me at the University of Alabama game, both of which we happen to be alumni.
Yes,
All right.
Tide.
We'll take a quick break, guys. We'll be right back. How about we talk weather, shall we? Caesar joining us right here on the Live Zone. Hello, my friend.
Well, happy Friday to you, Guy. I'm hoping you had a good walk into work. Not too bad.
It was a little chilly, a little brisk.
Right. That's really what we can always expect this time of year. But the good thing is, it doesn't get much colder than this for at least the next 48 hours into this weekend.
Okay.
So we can take it, right?
I'll take it.
Right. So let's get down to it. Let's talk about exactly what you need to know. A chilly but sunny Friday, and then cool temperatures heading into the weekend. That's really going to be the main thing for us. Dry but cool. And that's going to then lead us into the potential for some rain showers as we head in towards later on this week, specifically through that Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. Looking at the surface analysis for today, you saw that giant H. That's that high pressure system that really helps bring in that sunshine, but it also draws in that colder Canadian air, leaving us with temperatures in the 60s and 50s throughout all of the area here for the day. So again, that's where we're expected to hit in the city. 60 degrees, at times a little bit breezy, but everyone else will still be in those upper 50s. So yes, we do deal with some cold temperatures, at least cooler temperatures for this time of year. Then looking at tonight, having clear skies, that northerly flow, drawing in some cooler air, temperatures will once again be back in the 30s. So still seeing that very brisk feel out there. Temperatures do get back in towards those 50s and then struggle to get into the 60s and really mostly stay in those upper 50s thanks to some cloud cover increasing throughout the day. Looking at tomorrow for the metro region, right? Again, like I said, struggling to get into the 60s for tomorrow, just like we struggled to get into them today. And really, you'll notice the southeast zones, same deal. Not going to be breaking much in the way of the 60-degree mark throughout the entire area, and even out a little further to the north and west, could see temperatures still hanging around those 60s and upper 50s for us. So really going to have some cooler air, and that's really going to be the pattern that we head in towards this weekend. Look at that giant H. Once again, sticks around, doesn't move, is going to be stubborn, but we do start to see cloud cover increasing as we head into the second half of the weekend especially. You'll notice temperatures also dipping down and really dropping in towards those 50s as we head into Monday. That's thanks to this next system that comes up and brings us that potential rain that I was mentioning. It's been a while since we've seen some rain, so again, it is definitely welcomed, but the thing is, it does drop temperatures down back towards those mid-50s and just kind of sticks there. So we do deal with a lot of that cooler weather out there and really starting to see a lot of that more October, more gloomy kind of day, especially as we head in towards Halloween. The good thing is, though, we are not expecting to see, hopefully, rain for Halloween. So that's good for the kids out there for trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
Well, I guess partygoers, too.
Yeah, well, I'm the trick-or-treater, so. Still working on that costume, though. Caesar with all things weather right here on the Live Zone. Guys, if you haven't already done so yet, make sure you download the Fox Local app. That way you can take that forecast with you any and everywhere you go. Well, last night, Fox 5's Like It or Not got scary. Well, let's just say scarier than usual. The crew went down to Markoff's haunted forest in Poolsville to grab some hot takes. Let's see. Jem, Angie, Marina, my guy Chad asked people about their favorite candy, haunted houses, and if Halloween should always be on a Saturday. That's what I call a good question. Also there last night was Live Zone producer Joey, who joins us on camera for the first time right here on the LZ. Now, before you give us your takes, Joey, I want folks to find out who you are. Obviously, you hail right here from the DMV.
Yep, from Bethesda. I fall out of bed and get to work in the morning, so it's been great. Today is my 10th day of working here. If anything goes wrong in the show, that's on me, not Guy. You can see my face now. I'm the guy. But no, last night was very fun at Markoff's Haunted Forest. I have some footage here. Like it or not, took on Markoff's, as you can see right here.
All right, so the crowd is really vibrant. There's the crew right there.
There
of course,
you go.
Jem, Marina, Chad, and Angie running around there somewhere. All right, so they were talking about Halloween costumes. What are you thinking about what you saw last night?
Well, I was thinking there was one kid who was standing behind the crew the whole time doing the 6'7" gesture, and then after the show he said, "I'm going to be the new 6'7" kid." So I was like, all right, sure, you'll be the new 6'7" kid. But in terms of Halloween costumes, Markoff's is known for its elaborate dressing up, right? And there was one guy there, he's a retired firefighter, he's been doing this for 11 years. He dressed up as the Grim Reaper. What he would do is he would just find someone in line at the snack bar. He would go behind them and just stand there. And then the teller, the person selling the snacks would say, hey, have you ever faced death before? And the little kid sitting there would be like, no, I never faced death. And he'd be like, you're about to. The kid turns around, it's like, ah! The guy stands there, he's completely silent. And that was the first bit of that. Can I ask you, Guy, what are you planning on dressing up as?
We're still figuring it out. What I can tell you is that here at Fox 5, we have a big Halloween show coming up on actually Halloween. And so obviously we do it big every year during Good Day DC. I am really excited about what's going to happen this year. And so that's what you call a tease in a major way. And so we encourage you to check us out next Friday. Real quick, because we're running out of time, Joey, and I want to make sure we get to this.
Yeah.
You had something about a tightrope of some sort. What was this all about?
All right, take a look at this. So you basically walk on this log. There's this video I took from last night, several dozens of feet above the air.
Wow.
The object is to run across. That guy didn't do it. But ideally, you would run across. I want you to look at the terror in this man's face. It's a little hard to see.
Yeah, I mean, it seems as though they're pretty high up, at least 30 or 40 feet off the ground. And I guess the goal is to what? Just really run across that log prior to the log spinning and you falling off, which is not an easy thing to do. Let's go ahead and pull that up full screen again if you can.
Yeah, the goal is to face your fear with all these people watching you. My question to you is, first of all, would you do this?
Okay, so I'm somewhat scared of heights. But now if we're talking a monetary perspective being involved, but you know what? I just saw that. No, I'm not doing it.
All right, monetary, I'll give you a 20. How about that?
Not happening.
All right, well, all right. Assume you do absolutely have to do this. I have the answer for you. This is a classic log roll. What this is, you need to make sure, it's not just sprint across. You need to make sure your feet are moving, side to side like that. It's not just about running across. So this is possible. You can do this at Markoff's right now, where we were last night. So that was a lot of fun to look at that.
Yeah. It's just so cool to see you getting out and about. Obviously, this happens to be your first, you said, 10 days.
This is day number 10.
10 days here at Fox 5, and Joey has already entrenched himself within the Fox 5 family. So I'm glad you had fun. Work on that costume. Let us know next week what you're going to be.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, you know what? I'll save it.
No, go ahead. Show the people.
All right. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Sheldon J. Plankton, and I work at the Chum Bucket. The J stands
for Joey. It's me, Joey, and I'm dressing up as Plankton next week.
Folks, he'll be here all week long, at least for the next minute. Yet again, producer Joey, great job, by the way. And shout out to Emmy as well. She has done amazing work right here on the Fox 5 Live Zone, recently promoted, and so we are so excited for her and truly appreciate that all she's done, and obviously taught you a lot as well. So work with us as we are working with yet again a new producer, Joey, right here on Fox 5, the Live Zone, that is. All right, so a couple of things. Yet again, we will continue to monitor all things surrounding the government shutdown, now day 24. According to the U.S. Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, well, there could be some disruptions with regard to travel as a result of the shutdown. He told a very interesting story earlier about a number of air traffic controllers having to take their lunch break and rely on the airline in order to feed them, meaning the airlines were in essence providing them with lunch. It's a tough time for a lot of folks out there, and we want to let you know that here at Fox 5 we are keeping you informed and also providing you with information as to where you can turn if you are truly in dire need of help. We will continue to do that throughout the shutdown, and hopefully, well, it will come to an end sometime in the near future. Hey, if you haven't already done so, make sure you download the Fox Local app. You see it right there on your TV screen. You whip out your cell phone, you scan on that QR code, and you, my friends, are going to be good to go. You could watch us any and everywhere you go, but wait, there's more. You see the YouTube page there as well. That's youtube.com/@Fox5DC. On behalf of Joey the producer, and yours truly, Guy Lambert, we truly appreciate you watching the Fox 5 Live Zone. We're back on Monday at 12. Until then, make it a great weekend. The Take coming up next, right here on Fox 5.
I'm Plankton.
Great job, Joey.